Hey everyone, this is Curb Knight, bringing you another standard match. This time a little bit more of a fun game between two, I guess you could call them tier 3 decks. Anyways, on the left we do have Steven playing Eugene, and on the right we have myself playing Dragontree. Now this is the same deck that I deck profiled, I think, like last week, so we'll actually get a chance to see it in action. So we do actually have myself going first, which is definitely what you want to be doing, playing Dragontree. The faster you can get to your win con, the better. So we are going to be seeing me here, skipping that ride phase, putting those Calamity cards into Soul in 2 turns, swinging for 10k at that 8k Vanguard, and then Eugene is just doing Eugene things. So since the last Eugene video, I have not bothered to read any Eugene cards, so we'll see how this goes. Anyways, we're gonna see me putting that 3rd Calamity card into the Soul, and then of course banishing them all the way back to the right deck, face up this time, to ride that Grifolia from the deck. I almost said Soul. So finally getting into my actual turn. So now we actually do get to do something, now that we're not at grade 0 anymore. Just going to be getting those 2 markers, calling out my wrench with the 1 counterblast that I do have, and adding another Dragontree marker. So we did manage to hit those 3 Dragontree markers, so we are going to be able to get that extra critical off the Grifolia, calling down a burrow mushroom from my hand, putting it to Soul, and then calling those 2 tokens, which are hitting for 10k each. So since he is still on grade 2, they are actually going to be able to hit without any further boosts. Gonna be swinging the token first, and then swinging in the Vanguard, getting a nice heal trigger here, giving the power to my other Vanguard, as well as another burrow mushroom. Okay, swinging this next attack, which is going to be swinging for 13 plus 10, so 23. It looks like we are just going to be taking that going all the way to 3 before we hit that grade 3 turn. Right, so riding into the Eugene at long last. Let's see what Eugene can do to pick apart this board. Probably a lot, honestly, because, you know, Eugene, that's kind of what it's supposed to do, right? We're going to see that grade 2 from the little dragon dude from set 2, as well as the new grade 3 that we just got in BT9, which actually lets you search out a grade 3 order card as long as it doesn't have Regalius piece, which is going to be that best harvest, and then just going to go activate it right away. So every time he retires one of my rear guards, he is actually going to be able to draw a card. Just going to be using that dragon's skill, Soul Blasting 1, resting itself to retire the wrench, and that with the best harvest is going to be able to draw a card, calling out that Meteor Flare, I think it's called CB1, retire a rear guard. With the best harvest getters, again, of course, we're going to be able to draw a card, and then using the Eugene skill at last to rest 2 of those rear guards and retire my last token, and then using the other skill, the grade 3, which allows you to Soul Blast 1 and restand it. And unfortunately, that is an axe skill, so Eugene does not really have any multi-attack. So start of the battle phase, the dinosaur thing is going to be restanding itself and giving it 5k. Eugene is going to be getting an extra 10k to use its own skill, and then the Meteor Flare is going to be getting an extra 10k because I have 0 rear guards. So swinging with the Vanguard first, hitting into a critical trigger, which is going to definitely make Eugene's life that much harder, even though we are going to be swinging with just 1 crit and 1 drive. Swinging the dinosaur this time, that grade 3, I guess it gets boost. Like I said, I didn't bother to read any of these cards. Anyways, I'm going to be at 23, so that Meteor Flare, even though it is at a nice 20, is not actually going to be able to hit. So I am actually going to be starting my turn off here with a very nice Persona ride. So obviously I do have a clear board, but we are going to be remedying that in just a moment. Calling down that Shadow Cloak, just milling out an order. I think I milled the In the Dim Darkness. From where I'm looking at, I can't really see, but I'm probably milling that because I think I have a copy of it in my hand, and like I said in the video, you always want to mill the card that you already have in your hand, because once you activate it, you can no longer mill it with the Shadow Cloak. So calling down another wrench here, which is very nice, getting that 4th Dragontree marker. So we are basically set up for our turn 6, although realistically we're not going to be getting there anytime soon. Activating the other order and realizing that I was supposed to banish one of the calamity orders last turn. Drawing the card, checking the top card, and believe we're just going to discard it because it is not a trigger. So if it's not a trigger, might as well discard it, thin the deck out a little bit, whatever. So now the real question here is, how am I going to fill up this board? So I'm going to be calling a Shield Fisher, but unfortunately so far this turn I have not actually called anything other than from hand. However, of course, we do have that Burrow Mushrooms that we saw in the last drive check, so we are going to be having to commit that to pop out 2 more tokens so that Shield Fisher can actually attack. Now, I was hoping to maybe save that for next turn because I know my rear guards are going to be retired, but in order for the Shield Fisher to actually do anything, I did need to commit the Burrow Mushrooms. But we are going to be swinging for a pretty big number. This is going to be 18, 28 with the Persona Ride, an extra 20k from the 4, I would almost call them force markers, Dragontree markers. That's going to be a 48. Removing from play that Calamity card. Just going to be PGing this attack because it is a double critical. Hitting into a front trigger there. So all these attacks are swinging for very big numbers. And we're just going to be taking them. Let's see, that's 18, 28, 38, 48. And I believe the other one is exactly the same. Although, no, wait. It is 23, 28... 33, 43, 53. So 48 and 53, really big numbers. Kind of difficult to guard unless you've got PGs or a ton of triggers. But we are going to be seeing the Eugene doing Eugene things, resting cards, retiring cards, going for that wrench instead of the Shadow Cloak. Although it looks like we are probably just going to be calling something else out, another Dustin, putting something to Soul, drawing a card, and retiring the Shadow Cloak this time. However, we do still have those 2 tokens, so the board is not completely empty, but still. Unfortunately, that Meteor Flare is not a unit that can actually restand itself, unlike the little dinosaur dude. So if we want to attack, we're going to either have to move that Dustin up, or we're going to have to overcall it, which looks like what we're going to be doing here. Another Meteor Flare, I believe that's... Oh no, we're deciding to overcall the little dinosaur dude, and then use its skill to retire the other token. So actually going to be retiring the other? Okay, I guess we're making decisions. Anyways, using the skill 2 of the grade 3. Okay, I guess we are retiring it. Using the Dustin again to draw another card. It looks like we drew into Persona. So going to be swinging the Vanguard. Not very threatening, even though we do have the Persona Ride active and the extra 10k from Eugene's skill. Just going to be no guarding that. The only win con here is like maybe hit 2 crits, but we are going to be seeing only 1 crit. No defensive, but of course I am now at 4. I do have plenty of cards in the hands as well as a PG, so even though this Vanguard is going to be swinging yet again, it is swinging for, was that 23? Just going to be double guarding it. Oh no, that was the rear swing, my bad. I don't think we had enough resources to actually restand the Eugene. But anyways, we're going to be going into this last turn. Pretty much doomed for Eugene. We saw those last drive checks. Going to be using the In the Dim Darkness to call back the Burrow Mushrooms. So I can basically just call out a bunch of other rear guards and attackers, and with only 3 cards in hand, we do have just that PG Persona Ride and that 15k shield. However, we do have those 2 intercepts, and we are going to see a little bit of a misplay from here. Me calling the 2 plant tokens to the 2 rears when I really should have just made 1 big column, because without Persona Ride, those tokens are only 10k, meaning they don't actually hit the Vanguard. But we are actually kind of pressed for time. The next round was starting, so we decided to just kind of do whatever. I think I healed down even though I was at... Oh no, I was at 5 damage. I thought I was at 4. Anyways, we are just going to call it the game there. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these lesser tier decks. Don't forget to do all those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.